Right, so I've been making videos online for a while now. Um, I give advice. I kind of tell people what I've done in my recovery and stuff like that. Um, Now, I did make a video a while ago about my story and stuff, but this was just a short clip, a short summary. But I think if people want to truly understand where I've come from and where I am now, I think I need to just put this video out there to tell my story. I'll, I'll just be fairly brief and summarize it. Um, but I feel it's important for me to tell my story to you because then you will relate to it and hopefully then you'll be able to take on board the things that I say on another level because you know where I've been. So I started drinking from the age of 16. So I mean, for most people, that's pretty standard to be drinking at that sort of age in the UK, especially with the drinking culture that we have. Not long after that, I got introduced to cocaine, and then slowly over the years in my 20s, cocaine got a big hold of me. With the alcohol and the drugs in my system, you don't know there's a problem. You think it's fun. You think you're going out having a good time every weekend, but for me it was getting to a point where it was 2 days a week, then 3 days a week, then 4 days a week, and it could be up to 5 days a week, and it was just it just totally consumed me. Um, and now early on, I got diagnosed with clinical depression. Um, but as I now know, your depression is totally manageable, and it's also, I mean, now I don't even think about my depression at all because I don't have the drink and drugs in my life. Drink and drugs will only exacerbate your mental health problems. Without drink and drugs in your life, your mental health is totally manageable. And I just want to make that very clear. So obviously, yeah, mid 20s, going out all the time, and I was a high functioning addict, so I was still able to work. Probably not to the best of my abilities, but I was still able to work. As I went through in my working life, you get better and you end up getting more money. With that, obviously, is more drugs, more drink. Um, I started my own business, so self-employed from a fairly young age, and with more money comes more problems. I was consuming ridiculous amounts of cocaine, and the drink as well, to the point where I was just a mess. I recount times where, I mean, mentally, I'd be ruined. I'd be totally shot. You'd always think about jumping off a bridge or something like that, which is, which happened more often than not. I was stood on top of a bridge somewhere, contemplating it. But my mental health took such a turn that I tried to take my own life. Mentally, I had checked out. In my mind, I was dead because I went through with it. Um, and I'm only here because I was cut down. So you can guess how. Um, to this day, I regret that because I was cut down by close family, and pretty horrific to think what they were going through at that time. On the back of that, I still spent years. I didn't learn my lesson with the drink and the drugs because at that time I thought it was just a mental health problem. I wasn't thinking the drink and the drugs were causing this. I was thinking I've got a serious problem with my mental health. But unbeknown to me, it was the drink and drugs were dragging me further and further down. So as time progressed into my late 20s and into my 30s, I had a relationship with a partner, and I had a child, and everything was breaking down. Relationship breaking down. I was not turning up for work. I mean, there were just some horrible situations that I put myself in. And some of these situations and some of these things that I did, I try and be as honest as possible when I will tell the whole story, but there are some things that I will take to my grave. There are a few things that I did and that I'm not proud of and that actually disgust me that I will take to my grave. Because if it came out and if I brought it up now, I mean, it's not anything criminal, but it's a case of I would, it would cause too much upset. But that's that's addiction for you. It makes you do horrible things. Those poisons, alcohol and cocaine, absolutely decimated me. So with my relationship, that ended up breaking down. And then with my young daughter, I was looking in and I thought, I'm going to lose my daughter. I am going to lose my daughter if I don't change. Now, there was a period where I wasn't seeing my daughter for a bit, and something switched in my head, and I knew I had to change. So in 2021, I made a decision to try and quit alcohol and drugs, just put it all to bed. And 50 days I was at in 2021. I got to 50 days with drink and drugs, but then I relapsed on the cocaine. To this day, though, I have not had a drop of alcohol since May 22nd, 2021. I've not had a drop of alcohol. So we're well over 3.5 years, not a drop of alcohol. My problem then was getting off the cocaine. For the years that followed, it was horrendous. I thought things were bad when I was on the drink and drugs, but when it was just the cocaine, it was horrendous. The paranoia, the psychosis that just dry sniffing does is just on another level of horrific. But luckily this year, after many relapses and after educating myself, and I can't stress this enough, you have got to put some serious hard work in order to educate yourself. I got to a point where I started to get a thought in my head about having a drink because I was still using cocaine, and I had this thought process in my head thinking, well, if you're doing that shit, then you may as well go back to drinking. And then as soon as you get that thought in your head, that seed starts to grow. And I knew I had to do something to make sure that I didn't go back to drink. So I reached out to a company online, and they instilled that discipline in me, and the accountability in order to get me over the line with stopping cocaine. And now I consider myself recovered. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I've put the work in. Like I said before, mentally I was checked out. I wasn't here. I was gone. So to go from being dead to putting that work in, even though it's taken years, I am recovered. And anybody can be recovered if they put the work in, if they educate themselves like they should, and surround themselves with the right people, cut out the wrong people, you can get there. And even though I consider myself recovered, I still stay within this space and do what I do because I never want anybody to go to the places I went to. some of the places I went to were nothing short of horrific. And it's a case of, till my very last breath, I will try and help people. Till my very last breath, I will try and get people to the other side and make sure that nobody suffers in silence, and make sure that we don't lose anybody else, because addiction is a killer, and it's something that needs to be taken very, very seriously. Um, but yeah, that's a short little insight into me. Um, yeah, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. The whole point of this is to make people realise that there are people who have been where you are and are on the other side, and it is possible to get there. You just need to put that work in, put that effort in, do the right things, and you'll get there. So yeah, hope to see you on the other side.